All right, welcome to this explainer, where we are going to unpack exactly why Cape Verde absolutely shocked the footballing world. Seriously, we're diving into how a tiny island nation defied literal geographical and statistical impossibilities to stand toe-to-toe with the absolute titans of the global game. So let's just dive right in with a powerful thought from our source material that really sets the stage for this whole incredible underdog journey. It says, football sometimes doesn't need to make sense. Sometimes it's not something you can see, but it's something that you feel. I mean, that just perfectly captures how things on the pitch can completely defy all logic, right?
Part 1, the ultimate underdog story. Let's get right into it.
600,000. That's it. That staggering number represents the entire population of Cape Verde. And get this, they aren't even sitting on a single unified landmass. This tiny population is spread out across 10 individual volcanic islands off the coast of Africa. And to give you a sense of what they're dealing with, the last volcanic eruption was an 88-day event just 12 years ago in 2014, which destroyed a ton of critical local infrastructure.
So you look at this, and it is the starkest David versus Goliath reality you will ever see in international football. On one hand, you've got Cape Verde, 10 islands, and, astoundingly, absolutely no professional domestic football league whatsoever. None. And on the other hand, you have the nations they faced, like Argentina with 46 million people, bottomless resources, and historically elite football infrastructure. It's kind of like taking a mid-sized city, isolating it out in the middle of the ocean, and expecting it to compete against a global superpower. Wild, right?
Now, you might be wondering, how did they even reach the global stage? Well, they capitalized on their opportunities absolutely perfectly. Yes, they definitely benefited from the expanded African qualification spots, which bumped up from 5 to 9, but let's be clear, they didn't just scrape by. They completely shocked everyone by topping a group that included the traditional heavyweight Cameroon. They locked in 5 consecutive wins in qualifying, and they did it with games to spare.
Moving on to Part 2, built by the diaspora. This naturally leads to the massive elephant in the room. How on earth does a nation of 600,000 people, without a single pro league, build a squad capable of doing this? The secret sauce here is their brilliant utilization of the global diaspora. For Cape Verde, the dispersion of their ethnic people across the world wasn't a weakness. It literally became their greatest footballing asset. They drew in players who were raised overseas but felt this incredibly deep generational pull to represent their ancestral homeland.
And Cape Verde's global footprint is just vast. The guys representing this national team come from communities scattered everywhere, from Portugal and France to the Netherlands, Luxembourg, and even the United States. We're talking about athletes who actively chose to honor their heritage instead of playing for the massive, highly resourced nations where they were actually born and raised. Just look at this squad. It is incredibly eclectic, pulling guys from completely varied professional tiers. You've got Moreau playing over in the USA in the MLS, Duarte playing in Bulgaria, and my absolute favorite, a 40-year-old goalkeeper named Vozinha, who plays in the Portuguese second tier and the Cypriot League. All of these guys, from all over the place, stepping up together onto the ultimate stage. But hey, throwing diverse players together is one thing. You still need a game plan, right? Enter manager Bubista, a guy who, incredibly, had zero professional managerial experience. Zero. Yet he pulls off this absolute tactical masterclass. His team used immense composure to execute 3 very precise steps: staying defensively compact, holding a highly disciplined low block, and launching fast, composed counterattacks. Usually, smaller teams just panic when they face elite, high-pressing opponents, but Bubista's men, they were completely locked in. Part 3, surviving the group stage. Okay, let's look at the tournament itself. The group stage was an agonizingly tense 270 minutes of football. Literally everyone expected Cape Verde to just crumble, get sent packing with 0 points. But remarkably, they didn't lose a single match in 90 minutes. They pulled off stunning draws against 3 very different, very dangerous teams. Take match 1 against Spain. They instantly proved they belonged. They absorbed wave after wave of Spanish pressure. Remember Vozinha, the 40-year-old veteran keeper we just talked about? Well, he made 7 crucial saves. By staying incredibly brave and organized, they limited a highly technical Spanish side to only 2 big chances all game. And that created a massive mental shift for the whole squad. Then we get to match 2, the Uruguay roller coaster. The resilience here is just breathtaking. Cape Verde takes a shock lead off a wild 30-yard free kick from Kevin Pina, only to fall behind 2-1 right before halftime. Honestly, for most underdogs, the story ends right there. They fold. But not Cape Verde. They kept their composure, stayed dangerous on the counter, forced a mistake from the Uruguayan keeper, and equalized for a 2-2 draw. Just amazing. By match 3 against Saudi Arabia, they were basically proving that money does not buy everything. They genuinely outplayed a heavily funded Saudi Arabian squad, registering a higher expected goals tally and more total shots. That draw secured them second place in the group and sparked wild celebrations that were quickly becoming the defining story of the entire tournament. Part 4. Pushing Argentina to extra time. So here we are at the true climax of the story, the moment that absolutely stopped the world. Their knockout clash with Lionel Messi and the defending champions Argentina. Going into this match, everyone, all the pundits, expected a total bloodbath, a 4-0 or 5-0 blowout. People thought Cape Verde would finally fold, especially after Messi scored an incredible early goal with a flawless first touch. But the reality? It was a relentless, fearless fight to the bitter end. I mean, just look at these numbers. Instead of giving up and parking the bus to avoid embarrassment in the second half, Cape Verde actually attacked. While Argentina managed 11 shots, Cape Verde fired off 5 of their own. They genuinely shocked the reigning champions. Argentina literally didn't know how to react to this level of defiance. And guys, that defiance paid off. Sidney Cabral, a left-back playing for Trabzonspor, scored a goal straight out of a video game. He smashed this impossible screamer from a wild angle outside the box to tie the game. It was a moment of pure, unadulterated magic that proved just how absolutely fearless this team was.
Ultimately, yeah, there was heartbreak in extra time. An agonizing own goal from a corner finally ended their historic run. But you have to realize something incredible here. Cape Verde dominated those final minutes. They had Argentina completely on the ropes. They almost forced the game to a penalty shootout. They were literal inches away from pulling off arguably the greatest upset in the history of the sport.
Part 5. A legacy beyond winning. What you really need to take away from this incredible explainer is that true sporting immortality isn't strictly defined by the final scoreline. Cape Verde didn't even need to win a single game to win the hearts and minds of the entire world. They played with so much spirit that they became everyone's second team. They've permanently etched their names alongside legendary, iconic underdog runs like Cameroon in 1990, Senegal in 2002, and Iceland in 2016. So I'll leave you with this to think about. Knowing the impossible odds, the sheer population disparities, the makeshift league tiers of their players, and the absolute giants they held at bay, is this the greatest story in World Cup history? How will you remember the tiny island nation that completely shocked the footballing world?